I'm pretty sure Reunion's supposed to be a really good episode. Hopefully even I like it. But there's one more to get through before that. God, there's still so much. I spent 50 minutes on that episode. Nothing happened in it. God, sometimes I just want to be able to just fucking control the impulse to bitch about the show. That'd be so helpful. Yeah, with how little tends to happen in this show, this absolutely would have been one I watched at least 1.5 times speed if I was watching it on my own time.
At least stay till we get inside.
We'll see each other again, boss. You don't have to miss me.
Is this a main villain?
Teach me how to cook next time, you got it?
Gods, you're persistent. Why do you want to learn so badly anyway?
'Cause you know.
No, Eris, I don't. Why don't you spell it out for me? Come on, say it.
I hope
No
someone's made an edit
promises.
of that without Rudius's internal commentary.
'Cause you know.
Because that was a long time for anyone to wait for more
Oh.
talking.
Almost forgot. Make sure you swing by.
And again, that's a great example of why the show infuriates me. You have Eris, who's this character who has exclusively displayed more generally assumed to be masculine traits. That's her entire fucking character. The moment Rudius saved her from an issue he brought her into in the first place, she starts liking him. To the point that she wants to become fucking submissive and breedable for him. Like, oh my fucking god. She just needed a good man to dick her down, and now she wants to be a nice housewife. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Is this a different song? It's still weird to me that the show doesn't have an opening. When was the technology for fountains like that invented? It's not a criticism, it's an actual question. I don't know. Isn't that more Russian architecture? I feel like the show usually went for a more Western Europe kind of feeling. Yeah. Maybe I'm just not very familiar with European architecture. That's entirely possible because it's true. If you're wondering why I'm focusing on superfluous details like that, it's because I feel like I have to add some kind of fucking commentary to this, or else it's just going to be a fucking Sniper Wolf reaction. Dock me, bitch, I dare you.
I wanna go goblin slaying. I hear they show up on the outskirts of town.
That sounds a little...
This dude's a fucking otaku. There is one work of fiction that I know of in which goblins are dangerous enough to pose a threat to someone of her abilities. And it's the show's entire gimmick that a guy who's knowledgeable about them can fucking deal with them easily. That just felt like an excuse to show her getting sexually assaulted.
Handle a few stupid goblins.
Talk about famous last words.
That settles that, I guess. Go have fun tomorrow, and I'll see you both back here in the evening.
Breaks
How
for
many
me.
times have goblins been a threat to anyone?
Follow her. This is the first time I've ever written to Paul. I wonder what he'll find harder to believe. That I made friends with a
Okay.
superherd?
I just realized a really good argument for the thing I've bitched about for like 16 fucking episodes straight now. So, I think the biggest argument I've seen for why Rudius is justified in sexually harassing and assaulting and etc.ing underage girls is because he was literally reborn from birth. So he partially has the mind of a child. Not only is his mental form when he meets God his old, like, 40-year-old self, he refers to his current body's father as Paul. Exclusively. He has never referred to him as dad or father or anything of the like. I can't remember if he's referred to his mom with that terminology, but like mentally he is not this child in any way. He just isn't. He doesn't view them as his parents. He doesn't view himself as being this form. He views himself as being the age that he actually is. He is not mentally a child in any regard. So, no, that's not a fucking defense for him.
Let the boss know we got him. On it.
Oh, good, it's a misunderstanding.
I guess I'll play the waiting game. As long as they hold off on the violence anyway.
Pay attention to what you're doing.
Wonder what this hideout used to be. A church. There should be.
Oh my fucking god.
3 holes.
I am the great dead-end Ruijerd!
What was that? Did you say dead end?
Sorry, Ruijerd, I just realized how this looks.
Yeah, you fucking dumbass. Let me help your people's reputation by putting some random person's panties on my face and shouting about kidnappers in a situation I have no context for. I really hate that this is probably the most he's going to be called out for doing something stupid in the entire show.
This kid seems familiar.
You better watch
Jesus
yourself.
fucking Christ!
Good.
That freak was in my laundry? Ugh.
I am so sorry, Ruijerd. I owe you one. Oh, so close.
At least it's an adult woman. But what the actual goddamn fuck? If this show wants to do Rudius's POV for this kind of thing, commit to it all the fucking way. Do it the way Monogatari does it. Have it be a biased narrator for the entire story. Have it be only his perspective. Otherwise, shots like that are blatant fucking fan service. And outfits like this are just fan service, no questions fucking asked. There is zero explanation or reasoning that would explain that. Ever. Her panties cover more than her fucking outfit does. Also, a nice apology to Ruijerd as you actively make the situation look even worse for you. If you haven't watched Monogatari and don't know why I'm comparing it, one of the first shots of the show is an upskirt that's slowed down so that it lasts for like 10 seconds. Because that's the type of person Araragi is. The difference is the extremely heavy emphasis on that is because that's who he is and the story is told from his biased perspective. This is not told from a perspective. It's told from an outside perspective looking in primarily on Rudius. And occasionally, no, not even occasionally, it doesn't do first-person shots unless there's boobs to look at. I hate that this is so egregious and out of place that it almost bothers me just as much as the lolly shit. I think that's a core part of this. It's just so aggressively out of place. I'm pretty sure the other girl in this scene is wearing like fucking maid robes, and the rest of the characters are wearing full outfits. But then you have this character who's in a bikini that's so small that her panties cover up more than her bottom does. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, this is stupid.
No reason to gang up on some snot-nosed little brat. I'll take him down personally.
It's Paul, isn't it?
He seems really familiar to me too. But I can't place him to save my life.
They wouldn't chat to his face. Yeah. Yeah.
Rudy?
I'm just amazed that you're still alive.
If you want to know why the show is frustrating, as opposed to comically stupid like Attack on Titan and its finale, mainly, it's because of Paul. That is how you do a flawed character. The handling of some of the characters around him is certainly still sexist in nature, but he is actively punished for the things that he does wrong. That's how you're supposed to fucking do flawed characters. It's why Subaru is good. It's why Tony Stark is good. Why John Walker is good. It's why Kiritsugu is good. It's why Obi-Wan's good. They make mistakes, and their mistakes haunt them. They do the wrong thing, and that fact haunts them. Not only on a mental level from realizing that they made the wrong choice or did the wrong thing, but the story punishes them for doing so. Rudy has never felt a single ounce of guilt for anything he's ever done in this world. And the story has almost encouraged him to do the things he does. When he's focusing more on a woman's boobs when fighting her, he's still able to perfectly dodge every single hit. When he's wearing her fucking panties and licking them, she doesn't beat his skull so far into him that it starts coming out of his ass, like any actual woman would. When he sexually assaults Eris, she's like, actually, you know what, just wait till I'm older. Then I'll be more comfortable. Like, that's not how you write a shitty person. People talk about this story being about how he improves himself. This is why I don't fucking care even if he does. He's never obligated to do so, and then being a shitty person gets him everything he wants. I don't care if he's depressed over it a bit later on. Guilt is only part of it. The story also needs to disencourage that. Is that a word? Disencourage? Yeah, no. The story actively encourages him to do shitty things. He's going to feel a bit sad about it later, and then he's going to move on. And that's all that's going to happen. Meanwhile, just fucking look at Paul. Look at him. This is a man whose life has been shit for years now. And to some degree, he deserved it. He was a shitty father and a shittier husband. And just a generally not good person. And not only did the story punish him by making everyone in his family kind of fucking hate him, but then as the story progresses, his life becomes a fucking hell. That's how you write deeply flawed characters like this. You don't encourage their behavior by rewarding it in the story. They should be disencouraged by the story to show that this behavior is not rewarded, and they should also feel that guilt so that it's clear that them improving isn't just because the story punishes them. This is why ReZero is so impactful and meaningful and good in my opinion. Episode 13 has Subaru act like one of the most unlikable characters I've ever seen. He's not a horrible person. He's just incredibly unlikable and does some kind of shitty things. And the story makes his life fucking miserable for it. And not only does he have to work to improve himself, he has to work to fix those mistakes, and he feels bad about some of the things that he fucking said, and understands why they were wrong. Even if his guilt isn't that immense, he doesn't have a lot to feel guilty for. He didn't do a lot of immoral things. He just did things that weren't smart or kind. And he understands why. He learns why. And then he strives to improve, which is something they continue into Season 2. ReZero is so good to me because it's some of the best portrayal of mental health I've seen in fiction, much less an anime. Anime tends to have exaggerated reality, which means that the portrayal of relationships is not the healthiest, and the portrayal of characters' actions aren't the best choices they can make. The entire tsundere trope is an incredibly toxic relationship, which is why ReZero is so important to me. Mental health is an extremely important thing for me personally. I've grown up in a lot of difficult situations. I struggled with suicide. I have autism. I have ADHD. I have depression. Both my parents have dealt with their own things. My sister deals with a lot of things herself. It's an extremely important subject to me, and seeing it handled with proper tact is very important to me if the story addresses it. If a story doesn't address it, I don't really mind if it's a little questionable in its portrayal. But when character is such a strong focus in the story, it should be some level of focus on it. This show is exclusively character-focused. Same with ReZero. That's a lot of why people compare them, on top of just the isekai comparison. The difference is that some of the most realistic characters in the show, in my opinion, are these two. That's almost it. Almost everyone else currently feels shallow, at best. They feel like a character. They don't feel like a person. ReZero very rarely makes me think that. Subaru alone is one of the most well-developed characters in any work of fiction ever made, but so many of the other cast members are as well. And the focus of the story is self-love, which is an incredibly important thing within the field of mental health. And it handles all other aspects of mental health pretty damn well. REM is the only thing that bothers me with that show, and I actively discuss how much it bothers me anytime I can get the chance online. However, other things are incredibly healthy. One of the best moments of the show is Subaru getting angry with Amelia openly for the very first time. And it's actual anger at her, not at himself that he's projecting onto her, like he did in Season 1. In Season 2, there's a scene where he straight up calls her a pain in the ass directly to her face. And that is one of the most emotionally healthy moments in the fucking show. Their fight halfway through Season 2 is genuinely the reason why their relationship is one of the best in all of anime. Because they fight, they vent about what's frustrating them about the other one, and then they come together and resolve it in the end. That's healthy relationships. A healthy relationship has conflict. The best relationships and most fulfilling relationships in the world have conflict. And that's a subject not a lot of people like to address, because they want to fantasize about a perfectly loving relationship where nothing ever goes wrong. The problem is that for men, that means a completely submissive partner who just does whatever they say and likes whatever they like. And that's how the women in this are written. They're written to be just the submissive, stay-at-home wife whose job is to love the man and be pretty. And with Paul, there's a bit of debate to be had in that regard because, you know, he fucking cheated on his wife. The problem is that in the end, she stays with him. And, I mean, they can develop that more from here if they want, but early on, not the best way to handle that. It's good that both of those children still have a father to help raise them, but that father's kind of a shitty guy. And that kind of is a debate to be had. With Rudius, though, all the women around him just fucking worship him. Even when he treats them like shit. If Rudius struggled with his mental health more in this portion, I would like him more as a character, because that displays an intent to develop him further and not just have him be a complete piece of shit with no remorse. That's why him calling himself the good guy and acting like the hero in certain situations bothers me. It's why it bothers me when he acts like he has any moral high ground to ever stand on. Because he does shitty things and doesn't feel the slightest bit of regret in any way about it, any of it, and doesn't even feel bad about any of the things he does. He doesn't really struggle with depression or anything. The most he struggled with mental health was leaving the house, and that was resolved in like 20 fucking seconds. And sure, he becomes depressed later and stuff, but it would be more meaningful if he was depressed now. If his shitty behavior was a coping mechanism, like, that would vastly change his character. He would be more sympathetic despite still being a shitty person. Instead, he's just a shitty person. Just like this dude's a shitty person. Stop trying to escape.
Huh? What am I doing here? You saw my message, right?
No, I guess not.
Yeah, what the heck is he talking about? I don't remember getting any message.
I think a good example of why I think Rudius is a shitty person outside of, everything he does to women. His treatment of Paul here... Paul right now is a mentally and emotionally dead man who has thought his son's been dead for how long now? Haven't they been traveling for 2 years or something? And I think he was also looking for the rest of the family with no idea if they were alive or not. So, he's probably under a lot of fucking stress. And Rudius is just like, hey, how's it going? How's life? I get that you don't like Paul as a person. The problem is that you are like Paul as a person. And even shitty people can deserve some sympathy if they go through absolute fucking hell. If it's a hell they earned through their actions, like Paul being treated like shit by his wife after she learned he cheated on her, that's something that's completely earned. What's not earned is everything that's happened with his displacement. He didn't earn any of that punishment. A parent losing their child is the single most painful experience a human being can go through. And I will forever stand by that. That is the most unbelievably painful thing a human being can experience. And Paul has gone the past several years believing his entire family to be fucking dead, including 3 children. Again, that's my memory of the scenario. He might have found them. I don't believe he did, though. And Rudius's response to meeting him again is just so uncaring. Kind of goes back to what I was saying about how Rudius isn't a child in this world. He's a grown man who doesn't view Paul as his father. He doesn't feel any level of sympathy for him whatsoever. Paul's life has been hell for a while now, and Rudius shows zero sympathy or care. The most care he shows is at how awkward the conversation feels. That's all he is really seeming to care about. The downside to ADHD brain wanting me to pause and discuss instead of watch and then discuss is that I don't know if the next 11 minutes of this episode will resolve any of the complaints that I've just had.
I can throw in a little exaggeration for flavor, but Paul doesn't have to know that. I think I'll leave out the man god, though. He is a pretty shady character.
And all the time
In
you
retrospect, the whole trip was actually kind of fun.
didn't give a single shit about your entire
And
family.
then, when we arrived,
Tell me, why didn't you bother trying to find out if anyone else had been teleported to the demon continent,
Why didn't I? There's really no good answer. The only explanation I can give is
You don't fucking care about them.
think about it.
maybe I got my priorities wrong. Fine. No point in raking me over the coals about it now. The thought
There's plenty
genuinely
of
never
point.
occurred to me. What else do you want me to say?
You two even had an invincible bodyguard with you. Ha! And then, the first thing you decide to do
What
in
the
Militia
fuck, man?
is put some panties on your head and pretend you're a hero.
Yep.
Look, can you really blame me if I missed a few things along the way?
You didn't miss a few things. You
Blame
didn't
you.
care.
I've never laid eyes on her, but I bet she's a cutie. Is that why you never wrote to us? Worried that all the extra bodyguards you'd picked up might get in the way of your little love affair?
You're the last person who should be lecturing me about women, Father.
He is the first person who should. Because he has made mistakes. Those are the type of people who you can fucking learn from. Early in the show, I hated Paul more than Rudius. Rudius, it's completely switched. Rudius bothered me. Paul fucking pissed me off. In regards to the mental health thing, a lot of that comes down to character relationships. I strongly value portrayal of healthy relationships when you're portraying characters who you're supposed to view as in the right. if you're going to portray these people as good, show their relationships as also being good. Because there are a lot of instances of unhealthy relationships being made into a role model and put on a pedestal. So when I see such an unhealthy relationship, even if like the entire point is that it is unhealthy, it frustrates the fuck out of me. And with this, I understood that was the point. But even still, Paul pissed me off so much, and that's part of why I think he's a good character. He bothered me so much, and it was so intentional, that that's what made him good. When you write something that way and it's intentionally frustrating, that is good writing. Rudius is not meant to be frustrating. That is why he is bad writing. Early on, there was some very serious hatred for Paul coming from me. And I was with Rudius 100% against Paul. Paul made some very stupid decisions and was a very arrogant and self-righteous man. It is completely switched now. Rudius is 100% in the wrong. Something I didn't even really consider to address is the fact that he didn't even fucking care about his parents in this world or his siblings. I don't think he's ever fucking mentioned his siblings. And yeah, he was more concerned about trying to get lucky with people. Like, that's just kind of a fact. If he had been there for the time that it took for Eris and him to become adults, he would have fucked her over there without ever having thought about his family. Hell, he barely thought about Roxy and Sylphie. Part of this feels like lampshading. The other part feels like it was intentional. And whether or not it is lampshading is going to come down to what happens in these next 8 minutes. Because if Rudius is portrayed as in the wrong here, that's good writing. If Paul is portrayed as being overly aggressive here, or too cruel or mean, that's horrible fucking writing. He made mistakes in the past. Those are not relevant to this conversation. Because that was literally years ago. It is not relevant to Rudy's current complete disregard for any of the people who he claims to have cared for and the people who definitely care for him. Even if he does not love Paul as a father, even if he does not love his mother as a mother, even if he does not love the rest of his current family as an actual family and doesn't view them as such, they view him in that regard. That's enough to justify at least a little bit of concern for them. I don't think he even questioned if they were fucking alive. I need to stop to see where this goes, because if Rudy is portrayed as in the wrong here, that will be some of the best writing in the show so far. It won't resolve all of my issues with him as a character, but it will be a massive step forward.
Do Mother and Lilia know about her? Or...
No, they do not. How could they?
Oh, then you can be as unfaithful as you like. That's quite an outfit
You
you've got her wearing, by the
fucking
way.
dumbass.
I guess I can expect a new little brother or sister any day now.
Good.
Enough with the bullshit, Rudy! Oh, you little...
Side note, Rudius being the only one to comment on that woman's outfit is fucking insane.
What do you want from me? I did my best, okay?
No, you didn't. You didn't do anything.
Totally unfamiliar place. I didn't have anyone to turn to.
Aside from Eris and Ruijerd.
Managed to make it here.
I'll go back to the inn and wait for Eris and Ruijerd. Then we can get out of here. Maybe tomorrow or the day after.
You're not the only one who got teleported. Everyone in Buena Village was caught in the calamity.
What did you say?
I left messages for you at the Adventurers Guild in Zant and Westport. You are an adventurer now, aren't you? Why didn't you read them? While you were off enjoying your vacation, people died.
Why hadn't I thought of that? Why did I think
Because you
Buena
didn't
Village was
fucking
fine?
care.
So...
I have never been so happy and so frustrated at the same time. Because this is the most I've ever felt like they've actually fucking addressed the problems with Rudius as a character. But it took this long, and it took him being a fucking dumbass to some degree, and it's not even really fully addressing it. The fact that his father left notices in some of the adventuring guilds. And he's just fucking ignored them. If we had seen those notices, like, and him walking past them or something in previous episodes, this would feel less like lampshading, because that makes it feel less like this was planned. But part of the problem is that this just makes Rudy seem like a dumbass instead of someone who's actually at fault for anything. But it's also outright criticizing him for the first goddamn time in this fucking show. I just can't really tell whether more makes him come off like a dumbass or like a complete fucking sociopath. Because sure, he has greater priorities than searching for his family when he's in a completely foreign continent. Like, to some degree, yeah, absolutely. But there were also, like, how many days of him just chilling? Like, over a year, at minimum. There would be times when he's just doing nothing and taking breaks. It's in those times that you would remember certain things. He has never cared. And he didn't even really think much about the Mon disaster. And that's fucking... I feel like that's what most of us have been thinking about since it fucking happened. Somehow, he cared more about a kidnapping right now than he did about the fucking Mon disaster. Speaking of that, has he ever discussed with Eris about whether or not the cat swordmaster is alive? Like, have they ever addressed whether or not she's dead or not? Because I'm pretty sure she got caught up in that too. So, like, you ever thought about that? The person you're traveling with would care a lot about that person. I'm frustrated that it took this long, and I'm frustrated that they're going this soft on him for it. For much less, Subaru went through way fucking more. And had to do way more to be redeemed in people's eyes. Just really fucking wish people criticized him for the fucking sexual shit, too. The most he's been criticized on that was Paul commenting on the panty thing he just did. That's the most anyone has ever criticized him for being horny. Ever. It's fucking insane to me that people can hate Mineta from My Hero so fucking much when him being beaten up for being a pervert is kind of part of the fucking joke. Meanwhile, this dude is arguably worse, and the show never treats it like a fucking problem. If nothing else, Mineta has only ever made creepy comments and tried to look at the girls when they were changing or naked or whatever. This dude has actively assaulted people. He assaulted Eris when she was fucking sleeping. 2 hours in the recording. Let's go. I'm going to try and finish this without pausing more because I feel like there's going to be... I feel like a lot of next episode is going to revolve around what's happening here as well. Because from what I know, that episode's considered very good. And in total honesty, given the title, I kind of thought it's what was going to be happening here, which makes me think it's either a reunion with Roxy or Sylphie, or both.
Why hadn't I thought of that? Why did I think Buena Village was fine?
Oh.
So...
One thing I forgot to mention. The why hadn't I thought of that? It's because he treats this like a fucking game. It's another very easy comparison to ReZero, because Subaru literally called Beatrice an NPC the first time he met her. He was treating it like a game. And for a while, it kind of worked. By episode 13, though, is when that all starts to crumble down and his hero complex inflates and causes all the problems. It took way longer in this, and there were way fewer signs of it being a problem up to now. I also feel like they're not... Maybe I should just finish the episode, but I feel like they're not going to actually address why he didn't think about it. Because the actual reason is he's treating this like a game without consequence. But I get the feeling it's just going to be a, I forgore.
Sylphie too?
Figures. You're more worried about your girlfriend than your own mother, huh?
You mean you haven't found Mother either? Why would a search and rescue squad kidnap people?
You
Some of
fucking
them have been sold
dumbass.
into slavery. People were teleported without warning to all corners of the world, and a lot of them were taken advantage of, deceived and enslaved. I was so sure you had pieced it together and started doing something to help a long time ago. But not you. You were out sightseeing.
I'm not entirely sure where they're going with that, but I'm not really a fan of that decision. From what we know of his old life, the reason he was treated like shit in school was just because he was a fat nerd. So that kind of treatment from the other students was not ever a justified thing. That reaction from them is entirely justified. He is being openly outed as a horrible person, and he has nothing to say in response. All he can do is leave.
We can figure this out. We both got a little emotional today, but it's not our first fight. Once I get him to calm down, we can plan our next moves together, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. So first thing tomorrow,
Playing
I'll
a
go
game
back
without
to that bar
consequence.
and see if he...
You're obviously not!
So what happened?
He's not even visibly injured.
Your father this afternoon.
His father should be ashamed!
If he's miserable, perhaps you ought to comfort him.
It would be way, way more impactful if Eris didn't know how to comfort him, and so she didn't even try. And Ruijerd had to be the one to do it. That would be infinitely more meaningful. Because this just makes her feel even more like waifu bait. Because this adds zero depth to her. Doesn't make her interesting. Only adds to the, haha, she's so cutesy and ditzy and dumb. Meanwhile, with Ruijerd, it would be an actual serious conversation that's treated seriously and would develop him as a character and would develop Rudius as a character, and Eris not knowing how and not being able to and giving up would be a massive development for her as a character and would vastly change her relationship with Rudius and would make it far more interesting. Using romance to comfort a depressed person is really stupid as a concept.
Fine.
It promotes codependence.
Not very...
This is the first time I've ever been excited to watch another episode of this. Literally, ever. I have never been openly excited to watch an episode of this show up until this. The OVA is called Eris the Goblin Slayer, so it's probably going to be a whatever filler kind of deal that showed her story during that, which will probably be completely uninteresting at best, and it will sexualize her at worst.